Good afternoon and good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and Coffee Stream episode 530. And it's Canadian Wednesday. And today, Functional and I are here to talk about both national and Ontario politics. How are you doing, Functional?
I never said I was here.
Where
What's going on? Come on, man.
am I?
Things are going. They're going.
Oh, we both watched the first leadership debate for the Conservative Party, which took place last Thursday. And
I
it
kind of had
was
to remind a certain somebody about
it,
it.
it was not a I was not impressed. I just and the moderators were not very good.
Oh my god, they were retarded. You had some female journalist
Yeah.
and some fucking diversity hire fucking. Well, I'm just gonna say it. Mulatto guy kept who at one point says to a sitting member of parliament, "Chill, bro,
Yeah.
chill, bro." I'm like, wow, these are the people that you get to run these things, to moderate these things. They
And
couldn't moderate shit. They
not
kept
only
cutting.
the sitting member of parliament, but the calmest, most rational one in the room.
Because this is Michael Baber. They open up first set of questions, whatever. Then they open up the first round of rebuttals. They let everybody but Baber respond, and he's like, "What? Are you kidding me?
No,
You're not going to allow me to speak?" And
it
he's
was
like, "Chill, bro, chill."
no,
It's
that was
like,
Aitchison.
what?
Yeah, they did it to Aitchison because Baber said,
Oh, sorry, Aitchison.
yeah, because Baber said something about the Conservative Party didn't stand up for freedom. Um, which he kind of is right. They did when it came time to they talked a big game before the election started. And then when the election started and the media got media-y, they backed down. And it's
Oh
very
yeah, there is another one tonight, by the way. Sorry.
oh hello Wikipedia snippet. Hello
Hi, Wiki.
Elwin. Hello Fernando Gomez, who is a new person. Hello Maddie. Hello Selecta Boy. Um but
So we should also, for those who are familiar,
oh
we
sorry.
should mention that it's Roman Baber,
Yeah.
Pierre Poilievre, Scott Aitchison, Leslyn Lewis, and Jean Charest,
And
who are
Jean
all
Charest has
vying.
no business being there, which Pierre Poilievre rightly. I loved how he put Jean Charest got news of the trucker convoy from the CBC, like most liberals.
Yeah, yeah. He's he's like, how much did Huawei pay you?
Dollar
How
figure,
much? Dollar figure, please.
just
Just an
exactly what
amount.
he
Just
did
an
to
amount.
Trudeau
An
in
amount,
the.
please.
It
Just
was
just
exactly. It was he was, and he was doing it on purpose. It was a
yeah.
callback to the We charity
Yeah. Because
where
he got some of that filtered money through Trudeau's government of, tax dollar money that went to his friends. He was one of the friends.
yeah
And yeah, I mean, he's not liberal in the political sense. He's liberal in the party sense.
yeah
And he just jumped ship because he saw a weakened Conservative Party. Now, one thing I will say about Poilievre's touting um, Harper's government, I'm like, no, fuck off.
yeah.
You guys supported some shit, but at least with that stuff, it's kind of like in the past. I don't care about it anymore.
Don't bring
There's
it up.
more important, pertinent things that he's bringing up now that need to be addressed. I mean, like, that's how I logically vote. I vote for what is the best outcome, who I like as a candidate the most. And we
Yeah.
also have the freaking Ontario
I was
elections.
very disappointed with Leslyn Lewis. Her opening statement, I was like, okay, she seems a bit nervous, but she's making sense.
Making some
And
good points, yeah.
to be well received by the caucus. Like she got a very good reception when she was introduced and after she spoke the first time.
She's a whammons of
And
color.
then she just got petulant.
Yeah, she kept mentioning. Well, I mean, there was some ups and downs. Like she constantly glossed over and brought up, "I'm a female lawyer who's black and a minority." Like, didn't ham it up. I'll
No,
admit that. Like,
yeah.
it wasn't like, Peter
As a
Butt
black
gig. I'm
woman,
gay and I'm proud. Like, it's
yeah.
not in your fault, but in your face. But it's very clear that she's kind of leaning on that to help her get through. Which she didn't really make any like good political points. But
Repeated
when
a lot. I've noticed that she parroted a lot of what Para Polyev said.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
but
and I
she did
know
make a good point
which point.
of when Sheree was attacking Polyev for shit that he never did,
Hmm.
stuff that he voted on in the House. That even you can even hear very quietly in the background, Leslyn Lewis saying, "That never happened. That
Yeah.
never had happened. Oh my God, what is going on here?"
And
Because
there's a point where she even tries to say, for the record, like she tries to speak up and say, no,
yeah,
I would like to defend Mr. Polyev.
yeah, and that's good. That's exactly the kind of you don't need that kind of dirty politicking. And again, like the other four of them should have just turned to the moderators and said, "We'd like this person to leave, please. They have no
Yeah.
business being within our party's leadership race." Like, how does he even get the nod?
I don't know.
It's so weird, right?
Like he's running on like when he was like, I fought that battle once before. I want to keep Canada united. I won that battle. I'm like, motherfucker, you won by 2%. Stop acting like it was a landslide.
And even
Because
when
that
he won,
referendum was 51% stay, 49% separate.
yeah,
So fuck you. You did not win some grand victory of like some 95% stay vote. Like, stop.
you barely eked by.
You barely won that thing.
And again, he was the leader of the Quebec Liberal Party. Like, it makes no sense how it's because it's hosted by,
True North Strong and the Canada Strong Network.
which is owned and bought and paid for by
That one I don't know.
Trudeau.
Really?
Yeah. You like from the outset, it seemed like, I don't know if it actually is 100% bought and paid for, but there is money that goes from the Liberal Party to them. I don't know if he was just a plant.
Oh, well, that's what
Sabotage.
Polyev is straight up insinuating.
Oh yeah, yeah. That he's a plant, that he's
like,
sabotaging.
he even says it outright. You cannot put on a blue shirt to cover up a red shirt, take over the party.
Yeah. Yeah, Polyev was just being savage and calm and collected, and like this is the type of person you want to be your PM, to look at him in the House of Commons and like what do you think that Trudeau isn't scared shitless of Polyev if he were to get into office? He would immediately start a committee and investigate the WE scandal. He would immediately turn around and investigate all the other shady business.
Pincalo wants to see what would happen if Leslyn Lewis got picked, because then Trudeau would have to stand across the stage and like all of his male feminist crap, like would he like all of that, it's her turn, we invite her to run, like shouldn't he just step aside at that point?
Eh, I don't think he's strong enough. I think
I don't think
Polyev or Baber are the biggest chances to make
I
Trudeau
could
look like an idiot
see
on the global stage.
Baber surprised the hell out of me.
I saw him on Viva 2 weeks ago, last week, something like that.
I
was like,
had
oh,
not
I
heard
know
him
this guy.
before. And he was very, like, you could tell he was very passionate. But he also did try to stay as calm as possible.
Yeah.
I really liked the message that he and Scott Aitchison were attempting to
Eke out. Yeah.
get across, which was, guys, we are not gonna win anything if we are this divided with each other, because after we pick a leader, we still all have to work together.
Yeah, and it wasn't shortly after that Pierre made his comments about how he's a red shirt.
Yeah.
Which, you know, again, like, I stand by, but there's no reason why Charest should have been there.
I don't know why he's there at all.
Because I think that any of the three, not Charest, Baber, Polyev, or Aitchison would be good picks. But again, I think you need a populist, especially in this day and age, with social media, the internet, and all that jazz. You need somebody who's witty and can knock you down a peg.
Yeah.
Like that. Like, just boom. Like, if they're discussing something and then he could turn on a dime and be like, okay, well, Mr. Speaker, could you ask the honorable member about their payments from Huawei after they were, found guilty of legal business practices in Canada and were banned from operating in Canada? Yeah. Can you ask the honorable member about his payments? How much it was? It's like, people will see that on the debate stage on the, versus Trudeau or whatever candidates they put up, that he would just destroy them, and people would look at that, and I think even normies would be like, he's got some points. All those centrists, center left, center right, they'll look at Polyev and they'll go, you know what? That's right. Well, and he's using the power of social media to his advantage by getting his message out there across all platforms.
That was what he made a very good point to point out to the gathering last night, or last week, was that he doesn't rely on the
legacy
media to get his message across. He goes to social media himself and he gets his message out there, and that's why at his rallies there are people there who have never voted Conservative in their lives. And
that's the other thing too. He's hitting the pavement across Canada.
Yeah.
He's from Western Canada, but he went his schooling and of course government work has him in Ontario. But he has every box checked off. He's got diversity of thought. He's got good ideas. He's smart as a whip and witty, and he's knowledgeable about what he talks about.
And he's also a better bilingualist.
Yeah, he's also bilingual.
He's still, like, how some English-speaking politicians just lose their personability when they switch to French because they're focusing on speaking properly.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that problem. He's, like, when he switches to French, he's still Pierre Polyev. He's, like...
Yeah, I just wish we could get a candidate like that would do something like I would do if I had any sort of power in office and just kick Quebec out of Canada. No, not let them separate. Not let them establish their own country. Just be like, separatists? Okay, bye. You leave. I don't care where you go. You just have to leave the country. That's sedition. That's treason. Actively campaigning to dissolve the union. Screw.
Wikipedia says Pierre Polyev is our Ron DeSantis.
In a sense,
sort of.
He's got the demeanor of DeSantis, but he's got the panache of Trump.
Yeah.
He's got more populist panache that Trump does, but he's much more well-spoken like DeSantis is. Very calm. I mean, the only time you'll see him actually get heated or emotional is when he's actually talking to somebody who, say, lost their business because of the lockdowns,
Yeah.
or somebody who escaped communism, like Baber. Again, another good point where I love Baber is we see immigrants of formerly or currently communist nations
Yeah.
in Canada going never again, and that is a immensely strong message, because when you have people who actually lived and fled under communism
Yeah.
coming to a country and going, hey, we've seen these signs before. You know, I rant and rave about it all the time, BP.
Yep.
When you see these signs before, you can't help but be as loud, and you try to keep your emotions in check, but whoo, you get hot under the collar, because we
Yeah.
all know the evils of these totalitarian styles of subjugation, communism or fascism or socialism, any of these isms.
I think that it was brilliant for Baber when they started going, American style politics, American style
Yes.
politics, and he said, no, 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 stop, stop, stop.
Yeah.
This is not us versus America. We need to stop that. This is left wing ideology.
Yes.
This is not
That's
where
been corrupting the West.
country it's coming from. This is left wing ideology, and it needs to stop. And we need to work with the Americans and not like shit all over them. And we need to this is not a country thing. This is an ideology thing.
Yes.
That was
Totally.
really good for him to do that.
Of course, because that's how it should be, right? Like, we
Yeah.
want our biggest trading partners to be the best friends we have, and vice versa.
Yeah.
We want to be on good footing with England. You know, we don't need to get embroiled in the Western phenomena of
Yeah.
this hyper left wing political bollocks.
Yeah, we've got somebody in chat whose parents are from a communist country, Maddie. Her parents, she's like, yeah, my parents taught me what to look for, and that they didn't want it in this country.
So
And
did my grandfather.
I don't blame them. Like, they're from Cuba. Like,
Yeah, ask anybody. Like, Maddie, cryptic.
yeah.
I mean, I have a third hand account from my grandfather. Like, anybody I've ever talked to.
My aunt she was born in 1980, so she lived her first 9 years in Soviet Russia.
Yeah,
And even after the Soviet Union fell,
there was
like,
still a lot of shit.
it was a shithole. Like, electricity was intermittent, clean water was intermittent. Like, like, it was not a fun place to be. And she got
But
to,
when you stand in line for bread,
Yeah.
that's a good thing. Excuse me.
Maddie says, unfortunately, you have to be louder than the ideology. Yeah. And that's hard. Because the people that spew this ideological crap are so goddamn loud, and they have nothing better to do than but just sit on Twitter all day.
Yeah, I
And
mean, they're the loudest minority. I don't think you have to be louder than them. I just think you have to ignore them. If everybody who didn't agree with this ideology left Twitter today, they would lose all power. The problem is people are far too addicted and reliant on Twitter, and they're reliant on this company and this service that they vehemently have disagreed with on how they handle policy, how they censor people, how they are so blatantly biased to one side. And it's not even just one side, it's the hyper left reactionary insane people.
Yeah.
And people still gave them the power to do that. So, you know what? I have to say to all of those people, it's your fault. It is just as much your fault as it is these reactionaries, because you're giving them the power. You had to have gotten off Twitter 4 years ago, or hell, even if you want to drag it along a little bit, when that day that Donald Trump got banned, a sitting president, United States gets banned off Twitter, everybody who cared should have left. that would have affected everything. This whole Elon situation is not going to fix anything.
No.
It's like I constantly say, when you used to walk around the downtown of your city or any city, really, you would have people who are, save yourself, give yourself to, or the aliens are coming. You gotta protect yourself from the aliens because they're all in the government with the lizard people. You'd walk by, you'd be like, oh, that guy's kind of not right in the head, and you'd walk by. Instead, we've given them several megaphones on this platform called Twitter to yell their insanity to the universe, and people are paying attention because it's entertainment.
Yeah.
But it's damaging entertainment. It's junk food. And when too many people pay too much attention to it, even the simplest of algorithms will start boosting that content.
Yeah. It's true.
Sorry to be a little soapboxy, but it drives me nuts.
Right.
I understand that some people use Twitter purely for logistical reasons. Like you use it to tweet out your shows and network and all this stuff, which is all fine and good. But man, I wish people made that conscious effort to just get off the platform. Even if people started like private, I don't know, Facebook groups, which they had started doing, just something. I don't know, because it's like that old Halloween episode of the Simpsons. To watch those monsters, to beat those monsters, guaranteed. There's a brand new way. Paul Anka, guaranteed. Guaranteed void in Tennessee. Just don't look. Just don't look. Just don't look. Just because you don't look at the monsters, they don't have any power.
Don't make us poke your eyes out, Dad.
Like honestly, again, I know how addictive and how a lot of people work, but Colin Kaepernick, if nobody gave a shit and it was just the establishment media and himself and Twitterites, and nobody else paid attention, he would have disappeared overnight.
Yeah.
There's some things that, obviously you can't ignore, like Jussie Smollett. But those are legal matters, right?
Yeah.
Those are actual, exactly, Owen. Don't feed the trolls, and that's just like I'm done enough with my ranting.
Hello, Pancalo. I guess YouTube did not notify him that we were live.
Thanks, Susan.
Yeah, that's Ninja wandering around being an old senile man.
Yeah, my little Bobo's getting old and crusty.
He's about 15. Ninja's about 15 years old, and he's taken to doing that like loud meow, just constant, like, yeah, that meow, meow, just over and over again,
just for no reason. Yeah, but at least Bobo's, she's a little girl, so she's a little quieter. She's more like meow.
Yeah, Ninja's a 20-pound cat, and but he's like supposed to be a big cat. Like he's a big, just built
cat, yeah,
big. So he's
recently took Bobo to the vet, and she was like, last year 6 kilograms, this year 5 kilograms. So she lost weight, but again, 21 years old, can't really ask for much more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, she's about like Jordy. Jordy's a small cat.
Leech.
So the education minister, Stephen Lecce, apparently was, and we've all have heard of these slave auctions. Like my high school used to do them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like the grade 9s went just like to welcome them and whatever. There would be a slave auction, and they would bid on 12th graders, and the 12th grader would have to be the 9th grader's slave for a week and like take them around and show them the school and shit like that. Like it's a oh my god. So freaking Stephen Lecce apparently is apologizing because all the way back in 2006, okay, so almost 20 years ago now, he took part in a frat slave auction. Horror. Stephen Lecce, one of progressive conservative leader Doug Ford's highest profile candidates, is apologizing after a report of him participating in a fraternity slave auction surfaced. Jesus Christ.
That's why these Ontario
minister in the most recent parliament issued a 2-line apology on Tuesday night after the report was published on by the news website. Okay, so Press Progress was the news website that published this report.
Oh, they're awesome. They're basically a Canadian TYT, so they are nothing but lies. You actually, if they say grass is green, you actually have to question that because of how much they lie.
Yeah.
And how just pure garbage their so-called journalism is. This just goes to show you the weakness of the Ontario PC party. Doug Ford's a total asshole. This guy's a total fucking clown. And good. I'm glad he's in trouble. I don't care that it's nothing. If I was in his position, I would have been like, yeah, so fuck off. It's a game. It's something children do.
Oh, it's Blind Buddha. That's who Fernando is. Hey, Buddha. Blind Buddha is one of the FTC people that I play against.
Nice. Kick my ass as well in Mortal Kombat.
I was a sick monkey in college, says Skepta. Taking things way too seriously, says Wikipedia snippet. Yup. Pincalo says, I am passing the red-covered bridge that was in It Chapter 1. Oh, cool.
I mean, yeah, Pincalo, but that was just to get the groomers out of the education. Now we gotta get somebody who knows what the hell they're doing and who isn't just completely abusing their position of power.
Yeah, we need... Unfortunately, Doug is the evil, right? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Out of the three of them, Doug, Del Duca, and Horvath, Doug. You know what I mean? Like,
unfortunately,
we get him, Dr. Evil, or Crazy Lady.
Because, again, people are too worried about their own fucking internal, team sports party politicking bullshit to hold their own leader to contempt. If someone were to stand up right now and challenge Doug Ford, point out the fact that he locked everyone else's businesses down except his own.
Yeah.
Everybody who worked for him was fully allowed to continue working as and you know what? Tell me, what is so essential, given the narrative, about labels?
Yeah, nothing.
Exactly. And hold him to task and be like, look, we don't need another Kathleen Wynne or another groomer, Mr. Dr. Evil looking motherfucker in Del Duca, but we can't have corrupt leadership of our own political provincial party and be like, look, we need to take this guy down. I will be that candidate. That's why I think someone like Baber should have gone for Ontario first.
I think so too. I think
build up that name.
I think he should have stuck it out and called for a leadership review or something.
Yeah. When he got ejected for challenging Doug Ford, and Doug Ford had no.
I thought he left. He got kicked out.
Yeah. Doug Ford kicked him out of the party because of this asshole, Stephen Leach. Fucking.
So
things I want to say right now.
First person to lower rent gets my vote. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be pretty easy. You initiate a moratorium on all immigration to the city. You then go and you start a review board, a civilian review board, to review all recent property acquisitions of the last 50 years. Anything owned by a foreign corporate entity is now being repossessed by the province. Done by China, by India. You don't get to own half of our fucking condos. Sorry.
And live in them.
And then don't even live in them. Exactly. We have a vacancy rate, not a people own these, but a vacancy rate of up to 75%.
Yeah.
Of all new built units of the last 30 years.
Yeah, they're just owned by people who don't even live in this country.
Which, if we're looking at supply side economics here, what happens when the supply shrinks to next to nothing? Prices go up.
The other thing is we also need to put a moratorium on bidding for rent. That's got to stop. This whole auction for a rental unit, like I understand of buying a house, you get more, but if you're going to rent an apartment, the rent should be what the rent is.
Yeah.
You don't sit there and, oh, well, I'll pay you this much a month. Oh no, I'll pay you this much a month. No.
Yeah, but I mean, the problem with that is like, how do you like prove it? You know, it's not what you know; it's what you can prove in court, unfortunately. And even then, with the landlord tenant board here, it's shaky at best.
So yeah, Stephen Lecce apparently had to apologize for this slave auction, and Skep rightly points out that slave auctions in schools and stuff are usually used to raise money for charity
and awareness.
Yeah,
of what happened. Remember, like, look at what happens. Why they had such a problem with CRT based curriculum in the United States is because they were teaching this to 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds who are too young to understand. This was a university level. We're talking late teens, early 20s here. This is, probably raising money, probably for a gag, a fun time, but also to be like, you know what? Being a slave sucked, right? Now, can you imagine what being an actual slave might have been, even just a drop of that experience to you? Yeah, that's why we do these things. That's why in my community, in the Jewish community, even though I'm not like really a Jew, but in the Jewish community, that's why we don't use it as victim points a lot of like the Holocaust, unless someone makes you. But we teach within our community, never forget. We teach them about the atrocities that happened.
Yeah.
And there are like little games about like being herded and how do you feel about being herded and being told to, via games. Like, so the younger kids, they play something like Simon Says.
Yeah.
And then they learn a valuable lesson of, well, if you're doing your own thing, you're going to get eliminated. And then later on, a couple years later, when they've matured into like pre-teens, then they understand, oh, all these little components come together, and that's what made it so evil. They didn't have they had to constantly do what they were told, and this and that, and they were, you build on these lessons slowly. You don't just teach a 5-year-old, well, you're white and all your ancestors are evil and you have unlimited privilege and blah 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 blah. Like, no, that's not the lessons we're teaching.
No. And like just pretend that bad things didn't happen. Like,
so dumb. They'll say that in one breath, and like they want to say that in one breath, and then in the next breath be like, yeah, you're evil because of slavery, or you're evil because of colonialism. It's like, wait, what?
So yeah, that's what happened to Stephen Lecce this morning.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer dickbag.
He is a. I don't particularly like him. Because he was the education minister for the last parliament, and my kids were affected by his wishy-washy
Lockdown bullshit. Yeah.
Um,
Like I
no,
said, like I can support them politically, but still hate them as a I can't even say the word person.
yeah,
Ugh, so slimy. Because remember, all the shit that we want to give a lot of the more left-leaning areas of the Western world that lock down, this is a supposedly very conservative provincial government, and they lock down harder than the rest
yeah,
in Canada.
and it
Except
was
maybe BC. I don't remember. It was so long ago, BP. We were young men and women back then. During the pandemic.
So I've got two stories here. We've got a and it's written by the same person. These two stories, they're from the Toronto Sun.
Oh joy.
So there was a liberal candidate, a provincial candidate from the Sioux, and to those of
From
you
the
who are
Sioux.
going to Sioux, what the fuck does that mean? Sault Ste. Marie is
That's
called
where
the
my
Sioux
gran and all my cousins live.
up here. We just call it the Sioux, and everyone goes, ugh.
Slap mine. What?
so this guy, this liberal guy, had the Twitter handle of slap my nuts.
Oh.
So Warren Kinsella wrote this article. Slap my nuts and C has been slapped right out as a liberal candidate.
Ha ha ha! Great wordplay, Kinsella. Huh.
But he wrote the first story talking about the nut, whether he would use this account, in the election. And within hours, he got
Who's that?
yeah. It says following an exclusive report in the Toronto Sun, Sudbury area high school student Aidan Cullinan has been told he will not be permitted to run as a candidate for the Ontario Liberals in Sault Ste. Marie on June 2nd.
Uh-huh.
Because the Liberals have no sense of humor. Hold on. It refreshed because it's a dick. The report, responding to this newspaper, Andrea Ernsax, the party's press secretary, wrote, "These reports were not disclosed to us in the vetting process. We have spoken to Mr. Cullinan and informed him he will not be running as part of our Liberal team." So because the reporter didn't vet before publishing, they're gonna kick him out?
It seems to me more like they're just sour grapes over the fact that the woman lawyer indigenous cunt didn't get picked for her diversity status over somebody who actually, earned the spot. So they were like, what can we do? Oh, in some chat rooms, he was known as Slap Mine Nuts MC.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're gonna. That's more than enough to oust them. So fucking stupid.
Yeah. That's yeah. And so let's see here. The reports Ernsax refers to, in which reported to in the Sun, revealed that Cullinan referred to himself on online chat rooms as "slap my nuts and see," and was part of chat groups where people joked about people dying of AIDS. Oh no, not AIDS jokes.
You've got AIDS. Not HIV, but full-blown AIDS. I love that episode of Family Guy.
Or the episode of South Park where freaking Cartman got AIDS from the blood transfusion from tonsillitis from getting his tonsils out, and then he gave it a file.
Yeah.
Are you positive? I'm not just positive.
They couldn't even pin that down on him.
Oh, it's just bad. Wait, hold on. Somebody, Cannibalistic Wizard asked, does anyone think that Toronto will actually make it out of the first round of the playoffs?
Playoffs
No.
of what?
They never do.
Of what? Hockey? Oh, who cares?
Even if they do, they'll the farthest the Leafs ever make it to is semis, and then they choke. So,
dude, I'm not going to go off on too much of a tangent, but the Bettman era NHL is a joke. It is a feminized, pussyfooting version of what the NHL used to be and what hockey is all about.
Yep.
I haven't watched it since. Anymore. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's like watching women's field hockey. Who actually, even though I joke about it, put on a better game than men's NHL does.
I was gonna say women's field hockey gets kind of brutal, man.
Yeah.
Those chicks don't fuck around.
And they check hard. And they look good in those skirts when they get upended. you see in the NHL you get jerseyed. In women's field hockey seniors you get fucking skirted. They'll pull your skirt right over your head.
They're leading the series right now against Tampa. Yeah, like I said, they always get to at least the quarter of the semifinals, and then they choke.
You ain't wrong, Grillin' Pirate Pete. He says the best years in hockey were the 80s, especially Red Wings Russian line. The Red Wings were the last true Canadian hockey dynasty in the NHL, and then things just kind of slowly went downhill.
I grew up with because I'm a Habs fan.
Ew.
And I grew up with the Patrick Roy, Saku Koivu, all those guys playing. And so, like, I remember I actually got to go to the 1994 Stanley Cup parade with for the Montreal Stanley Cup. That was fun.
But come on, Steve Yzerman, Fedorov, Shanahan, Draper, Maltby, Scotty Bowman was late 90s coach. Like, they were such a good team in the late 80s, early 90s. What was it, Lindman? Oh, God. Oh, shit.
Yep.
Fucking love me my Red Wings.
And then it developed into players like Mario Lemieux and Eric Lindros who bitched all the time. And you're just like, shut up.
Yeah, and then you get kids like Alexander Ovechkin, who is a better player than Sidney Crosby could ever hope to be. Sid's got the hands. Sid's got a lot of skill. Don't get me wrong. Ovechkin is a hockey player.
Yes.
He takes hits. He can dish out hits. Obviously, you don't want your starting center or wingers to be throwing out heavy hits all the time. But I mean, the fact that he can grind against the boards, he can play the game, made him just. He never bitched about anything.
No.
Sidney Crosby, he hit me too hard, and then I hit the ice, and then it's like, shut up, kid. Shut up.
He's one of those guys that did not take headshots well, because now he's all like, Sidney he's not all there.
Which, I mean, like, that's one of the safety measures, like the better protective helmets and stuff.
Yeah.
That I agreed with. I mean, that was just common sense. It's the other things like changing some of the hit rules, the
No
automatic icing
checking.
rules,
Yeah.
everything like that. Like, you know what? I don't like automatic icing because that was one of the strategies of winding down the clock. Whether or not you're down one or up by one, you're trying to wind down the clock so you can get that last goal before the buzzer or prevent that last goal before the buzzer so you don't go into OT. And then maybe you're losing a point, maybe you're gaining a point. Like it's there's so much strategy that is now sacrificed. I think that they were unintended consequences of the changes of the rules of
Yeah.
the late '90s, early aughts. But I'm passionate about it. I used to love hockey. Now I watch the Marlies and I watch the rest of the AAA guys because these are kids who want to fight on the ice. They want to play. They're hungry.
Yeah. I remember growing up watching my uncle play hockey in house league. I used to watch it with my grandfather and my uncle. I used to listen to it on the radio all the time.
Yeah, I used to be obsessed with hockey. Hell, I'm wearing a 1964 Bill Barilko Toronto
Mm.
Maple Leafs jersey. And for those who don't know, there's a famous song from the Tragically Hip about
Okay.
it. And
Mission
Bill
Cat.
Barilko scored the last winning goal of 1964 to win the Leafs the Stanley Cup. He disappeared for 4 years. They never found his body, and then he turned up dead.
And then didn't they win the cup the year that they discovered his body?
Yes. It was the most ridiculous. No, they got to the finals, I think.
Oh, okay.
It was the most like it's one of those things that you see in a movie and you're like, oh, so they said they basically said to him, if it would be a real shame if you won that hockey game, then we wouldn't be responsible for what might happen to you. You know, kind of wise guy bullshit.
Yeah, it was a fishing trip that he went on with his buddy, I think.
Yeah.
And they were flying a bush plane. And the bush plane crashed, I think.
No, the plane didn't crash. He just disappeared.
Oh. So this is a story that Pink Hollow sent me. Are we surprised at all by this headline
Oh,
here?
sorry. He after he did dive by a float plane crash.
A float plane crash.
In 1951, he won the Stanley Cup 1947, 48, 49, and 51.
Yeah.
Died in 51. And where was the... They didn't win again until
67.
67?
67 is the last time they've won the cup.
Yeah.
I like to remind Pink Hollow of that because I like to say at least my team has won the cup in my lifetime, and they've won the cup more times since the Leafs won the last time than the Leafs have ever won.
Yeah, but the Leafs will never win for the next 3,000 years because people will keep buying the tickets even though they absolutely horribly suck. We're a hockey town. You can't get around it. It's just like Twitter. You're voting with your wallet in this case. If you keep supporting the team, they have no incentive to make changes. They don't have incentive to win.
Yep. The crash site is a memorial, says Pink Hollow.
Yeah. I got the facts scrolled up in my brain, Pinky. What can I say?
Greatest Tragically Hip song, says Pink Hollow. Yeah, he loves that song.
Yeah. 50 Mission
So
Cat.
who's shocked here that says that the RCMP didn't ask for the Emergencies Act to be invoked? The commissioner has just been told.
Oh.
Who here is shocked by this? Because I'm not.
Honestly, I don't know who to believe. I don't fucking trust the RCMP. I don't. She's been caught lying several times of recent memory, and I don't trust the mayor, and I don't trust the government.
That's true.
But now she's trying to pass the blame off for her complicitness to what, the government?
That it's hard to tell who's yeah,
Yeah.
because she has lied. Uh, so
Can
RCM.
we hold on. Can we institute a 19th amendment so we can just revoke the 19th amendment? I'm sorry, like
Yeah.
it's just so many times you see women in these types of leadership roles of like policing, of
And they
like city mayoralship, and I'm not saying all, but how many times do we have to look and see at these people just being complete and utter messes?
I think if a woman wants to be in a leadership position, like a major leadership position, they should study people like Catherine the Great, Elizabeth the First, and and then be asked, "Do you agree with how they handled those situations?"
Or look
And
more
if they
locally
say
like Kim
no,
Campbell,
yeah, if they say no,
Kathleen Wynne.
go away. If you don't agree with, the way Margaret Thatcher say, like, you don't have to agree with everything she said or whatever, but if you can't look at what she did and admit that she was a strong ass female leader, like if you can't look at Catherine the Great and admit that she was a strong female leader, like you have no business
But no,
being
we have
a
people
leader.
like Brenda Lucky
Yeah, Brenda Lucky.
or Kathleen Wynne or whatever, These
So that
just
she told the MP
women.
that the Emergencies Act gave police across the country the tools to deal with the trucker convoy, but says that they didn't ask for it. So
Wow.
basically, what you're saying is we didn't ask for the free candy, but when it showed up, yeah, we
We
weren't
took it.
going to say no.
Hey, we've spent so much money on these new toys, these military style vehicles and body armor and weapons. We wanted to take them out for a test drive. Come on, guys. We need to make sure this equipment works.
Yeah. It was Bill Blair and his retarded GTA wisdom, says Pink Comment.
Yeah, Bill
Yeah,
Blair needs to.
that's
He
true.
needs to toss rocks too.
And he was police chief too, wasn't he?
Yep, and under him we saw dramatic rises in gun violence in the city. Thanks, Bill Blair. Even though he's and guess what? Guess what? He's anti-legal gun ownership.
I'm shocked.
Shocking. When it's all the illegal guns being brought up over with Americans. Like, was it you that covered the story of the drones that flew guns over the border?
I might have been.
Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was like some drone was caught in a tree or something. Maybe it was Drunkle, I don't know. And they were trying to cross over from the American side to Canadian side
Right.
because we actually do have a registered program. You have to be licensed for a firearm up here.
Yes.
Whoop de doo, like it's not ideal, but I'll take it. We still have gun rights.
I would like to have a pal.
But that's how they get around getting away with gun crime in Canada is you buy an American gun that's not registered here.
Yep.
And boom, it's untraceable. It's what was originally colloquially ghost guns, actual ghost guns, because the term ghost gun just means you can't track it. You can't trace the point of sale. You can't, sometimes they'll file off the serial numbers on the parts or whatnot. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's so frustrating because these politicians want to come after legal gun owners and they don't care that all of the gun crime in Toronto, all of the gun crime in Montreal, all of the gun crime in Winnipeg is all from fucking US handguns.
there was that one sniper in
Nova Scotia.
no, in Toronto.
Oh.
15 years ago. But he was just an immigrant looking for his son.
Mm.
Wife stole the son, and like because of the way the criminal court. I mean, I'm not justifying him, taking to Union Station and starting to shoot people, but like you still have to understand why these disturbed people lash out the way that they do. You don't have to agree with it. You just have to understand it.
Yeah.
Again, it wasn't legal gun ownership.
No.
If you're not a Canadian citizen, you do not have the right to get a license.
And Pink Hollow just said, "Oh, did you hear the libs are planning to bring back the long gun registry? 20 mil a year, waste of money."
Oh, yeah. That's one thing I wish Baber would be a little bit more vocal about. Again, why I think he would have been better served running against Doug Ford for the Ontario leadership.
Yeah.
And Polyev is just very outspoken about is he basically wants to institute like a 2A. He has alluded to the fact of modernizing the Canadian Constitution, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and including things like the right to self-defense, which I think is brilliant. How many times do I talk about how archaic and outdated our laws are, especially how fast technology has innovated over the last 100 years?
Yeah.
We've made more advancements in the 100 years than we have in all of human history up until that point 100 times over.
Yeah.
Like and our laws are still from 150 years ago.
Yep.
Makes no sense.
Oh, Pink Hollow says, "Functional. Have you noticed they're starting to slowly bring up Nova Scotia?"
Bring up Nova Scotia again. Yes. Because Polyev mentioned it. I think it was Polyev mentioned that a big thing about Eastern Canada is that's where everything, all the rest of our goods come from that isn't China. China comes in from the West Coast, from BC. Makes sense. It's the closest shipping routes. Makes sense. Yep. Eastern Canada is our port to the rest of the world, including the United States.
Yep.
And when you have ports like California that are in such disarray, we want to start doing more shipping on the East Coast with Florida and
yep.
and what's that other port city on the East Coast? Georgia, Atlanta.
Yeah.
These types of cities, because they're not screwing around. I mean, they are. I get the colors confused. They are red states. They are, for the most part, red areas where these ports tend to operate. It's no wonder that we want to do that. Someone like Polyev wants to bring back jobs to the East Coast because of the whole debacle with closing down almost all the fishing industry. Yeah. We need to give Eastern Canada a bit of revitalization. Ontario and Quebec are okay for now because we've got nuclear power generation. Western Canada has things like natural resources. BC's full of natural resources. Alberta and Saskatchewan, prime farming and natural resources country. Eastern Canada's got nothing right now. Mostly it's because the government's tying their hands and China's stealing from her.
Polyev brought up a good point. He's like, I want to empower Newfoundland to start producing their oil because Labrador has a fucking huge oil field under it.
Yep.
And so that they can start producing that 300,000 to 400,000 barrels of oil a day, then we can start cooling and liquefying the natural gas and sending it to Europe.
Correct me if I'm wrong, BP or Pinkalo. Wasn't it Jean Chrétien who basically put the kibosh on drilling for oil in Eastern Canada?
I can't remember. I know that Harper, one of the bad things that Harper did was he really fucked up.
Doubled down on it.
In Canada.
Yeah, he doubled down on some of on a lot of the restrictions that were out there that prevented business, and I didn't understand it. I'm like, this is why I don't like Harper, because he was, I feel people use the term rhino a little too loosely, but he wasn't very fiscally conservative with the thought of being responsible with taxpayer dollars in that respect, because you're taking tax money away from these people to screw them. No, fuck that.
Yeah. And when he allowed other countries to come in and fish
Yeah.
for the Newfoundlanders,
We
and
should have deployed the fleet.
yeah,
We
he
should have
should
set
have
up a
been like,
blockade,
"Get
a
the
hard blockade.
fuck out of my waters."
I would have started shooting at Chinese ships. I don't care. If they cross that embargo line, once they cross, you do not say a damn thing, you start shooting. I
Yeah.
don't care. I
But
do not
instead,
care.
Harper
You are
was like,
stealing
"No,
from
Newfoundlanders, you need to let them fish first."
they're literally stealing the food out of their mouths. And our own government for several administrations now have let it happen.
Yeah. Trudeau,
Yeah, the Arctic drilling, yeah.
he banned it in 2016.
But I mean, like people don't realize Canada has so much natural resources: cobalt, nickel, not aluminum, that other stuff that makes aluminum,
Shit. Tin.
tin. We've got like all these natural resources: oil, natural gas. Harper banned fracking.
Yep.
Like, there are ways to do some of these things, like fracking, where you don't disrupt the local populace. The shit that was going on in some places of the United States, that was atrocious. That was the companies, the drilling companies, the energy companies taking advantage and not adhering to proper safety standards. Most fracking is fine. It's safe. Just like oil drilling. Most of the time, it's fine. It's safe. It's when the companies don't give a shit and then the government doesn't hold them account.
Yeah.
That's when we start running into problems. That's where my inner liberal comes out and says, you know what? Fuck these companies. BP, oh, you spilled several hundred tons of crude into the ocean. Well, bye. You're no longer able to. Your business is gone. Sorry.
Pinkala says if we closed the borders and went full feudal Japan, we'd be fine. Yeah.
We really would. We do not need to trade with anybody. We have all the food, all the natural resources. We could be the next Taiwan.
Yeah.
If we had if we started building factories here to produce these pieces, these microprocessors and shit, we have the minerals here. We just have to dig for them.
Yep.
The Canadian Shield is this giant slab of earth. It is the giant piece of mantle that most of Canada rests on, which is just jam-packed with all kinds of goodies that would make us one of the richest places on earth. But you know what? No, let's instead let China rape the fuck out of African countries, dig up all the minerals there, screw over those people, but then on the global markets, let's let them screw over United States, Canada, UK, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was our leaders like Jean Chrétien and Stephen Harper and Barack Obama and George W. Bush who allowed China to get into this business of subverting our own business.
Exactly.
What made post-World War, what made the West so powerful, the United States specifically, so powerful, was manufacturing, was industry. Creating stuff is power.
Pink Hollow says, hell, Timmins/Sudbury is just a giant meteorite. Yep.
Giant meteorite of nickel.
Yep.
We've barely even scratched the surface, and we've been fucking mining that sumbitch for what, 70 years now?
Oh, yeah.
At least?
Yeah. We have,
and one of the biggest minerals is cobalt.
Yep.
We have the potential for being the number 2 source of cobalt in the world. Cobalt is in every device you can think of.
Yes.
It is one of those quote-unquote super rare, high-value minerals that is literally being strip mined the fuck out of Southern Africa.
Yep.
I don't remember which country. What can I say? I'm not that familiar with geography. of the world, not just Africa. Trust me. Yeah, Wiki. Thank you.
Yeah, it's
And
a
it also funny little tidbit as well is we will never have like any sort of fissures opening up from earthquakes or anything. We can get bumped and knocked around and kind of, jostled a little bit. We'll never have major earthquakes. We'll never be able to be like flooded or any other really bad natural disasters like that because of this shield, this giant slab of planet Earth that we live on. I mean, Western Canada's kind of,
yeah.
BC is kind of screwed, but they can fall off into the ocean just like
They-
California.
yeah.
Them in California can fall off into the ocean
We'll
and
just
get married.
We'll airlift Sora Luna out of BC and then like
Yeah, they can keep beard.
Oh my goodness. Well, guys, that's been our Canadian Wednesday.
Oh, we got so Canadian today.
It was very good. We talked about hockey. We talked about the Tragically Hip. We talked about it was super Canadian. Oh my goodness.
Happy hour is here.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. I will be on Twitch in the morning tomorrow. And Star Trek stream on Saturday. I think we're gonna give Strange New Worlds one more episode, see what happens, and then we'll probably go back to talking about good Trek.
Random topics, yes.
Yes, good happiness.
I don't know if you could tell I was biting my tongue a little bit on Saturday. I'm trying to be fair and give it a shot, but at the same time,
I can do a whole season.
I don't care how bad the first season of TNG or DS9 or Voyager or Enterprise is supposedly, and they all vary in their merits, but they were still watchable and fun and entertaining.
Yeah, like
I can still watch first season of TNG and just be happy.
When you watch, like, because I didn't actually know that there were snippets of the January 6th riots in the video that Pike was showing to the whatever the Kylie
aliens
people.
Yeah.
And until Doomcock's review, and I was like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, they're being revisionist in their own history. See, and you know what? Given the day and age that we live in, yeah, you're damn right. I'm going to expect the level of quality I got from season 1 of The Boys, season 1 of Game of Thrones, season 1 of Mandalorian. It is possible to create stunning, compelling pieces of art on screen.
Yeah.
There's no reason to shovel us crap and call it cookies.
Wesley the Time Lord. Oh.
I'm gonna hit her.
I woke Pink Hollow up. He was taking a nap, and I was no, fuck you, no.
Yeah.
I already said you can't get mad about Wesley and the fucking time traveler thing because he was intended the entire time to be the traveler's replacement. I brought this up earlier. I will argue this till I fucking die.
Okay, but you did
stop bitching about Wesley.
Nope. You're wrong because you weren't even talking about replacing.
You're wrong. It's fake news.
So yeah.
You're wrong. You're wrong. Wrong.
Fake news.
No.
Fake news.
Leave it. Nope. I will leave this one alone. I wanted to see a return of Wesley.
It's because you are one of the people that like Wesley.
No, I liked to shit on Wesley. I like to see him get shit on. The fact that he was used in the way he was with the Traveler makes sense.
No, it doesn't. Because
I can get behind
Travelers until he showed up. It was the doctors and the supervisors.
I can get behind
time traveling aliens. They were Romulans.
I can get behind mocking Wesley and TNG.
Okay.
I can't get behind just bringing him up just because they need to do something with Soji actress.
Yeah, they
This little Miss
literally
Diversity
did
hire.
something with the Soji actress, and he was there for 5 minutes just to be like, "Hi, remember me?"
If they
I was
cut it out,
her.
if they cut it out, it wouldn't. If they cut her and him out, none of it would have impacted the rest of the story. In fact, it would have made it better and more coherent.
Yep.
Ugh.
Wesley was my first crush. Hashtag not sorry.
You
Well, we all
fucking
have
faggot.
poor taste when we're young, Owen. All right, guys. I'm gonna end this and
Get
go
outta
find
here.
some food. But thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day. And I will see you on Twitch tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody. Take off. Hey, you hosers.
You're not my buddy, guys.